Hello students, welcome back to lecture 2 of chapter Constructor. So in today's class, we will be understanding constructor overloading and we'll see how to write these constructors in a program followed by some exercises. Okay, so let's begin with constructor overloading. We have already seen function overloading concept. Function overloading, if you remember, it is having two or more functions with same name but different parameter list. Similarly, constructor overloading is also having two or more constructors within a class is called constructor overloading. Right, the process of having two or more constructors in a class is called constructor overloading. So let's see an example here. Yeah, this is an example for constructor overloading. You can be asked to explain constructor overloading with an example in section A. So you can just give simple example like this. Your class student having two instance variable. First one is int RNO and second variable is float AVG. Right? You can give any simple example to explain the concept of constructor overloading. And then you declare public student, which is nothing but the default constructor, where you initialize roll number and average with the appropriate values. You can give it 0 or any value in correlation with the data type you have assigned. Fine, so this is your default constructor. And in parameterized constructor, you're accepting R as parameter to assign to the instance variable RNO, right? Then there is another parameterized constructor accepting two parameters. First one for roll number and second one is for average. So a parameterized constructor has parameter in it. It can be one parameter, two parameters, three parameters, anything. So you just have to show two or three, like no, greater than two. Minimum two constructors must be there to explain constructor overloading. Fine. So this is an example for constructor overloading program. Okay. So here in this, you can see three constructors. The first one is default constructor. The second one is parameterized constructor accepting single parameter. And third one is also a parameterized constructor accepting two parameters. So this is a simple definition along with an example for constructor overloading. Okay. Yeah, and then in a program, it will be simple normal programs like, for example, here we have already done these type of program. They will just include default constructor and parameterized constructor in your normal program, which is generally asked as the first question in section B. If you see the previous board papers, the first question in section B will be of this type, wherein they will ask you to, write a program which contains instance variables with default constructor, parameterized constructor, and some more methods like get, calc, disk, and also the main. So this program we have already done while user-defined function lesson lecture 4. So you can just refer that program. Here you just have to add a default constructor and parameterized constructor in your program. So through this, they just want to test whether you know how to write a default constructor, how to write a parameterized constructor. That's it. So don't think too much about it. Just add these two constructors in your normal program once asked. Okay, I'll just show you this in the program also. I'm sure you are clear with this because in previous lecture also we have discussed this. Anyway, I'll just show you the program. Yeah, that was a mobile program. So all the things are as it is. I have only added the default constructor, which you can see here, and a parameterized constructor next. So you just have to add them as it is, preferably in the beginning of the program, before any methods. Okay. So as it was given in the question to initialize bike number and days only. So you have to do it as per the question. Sometimes in question they ask you to initialize with 0 or some value. So you have to do it accordingly. Fine. So this is your default constructor and this is your parameterized constructor as it is accepting 3 parameters just to initialize the instance variables BNO, name and days with these parameters. Okay, so this is only to be included. That's all. So you can try out doing at least one program with the default and parameterized constructor. It's very simple concept. You don't have to worry about. Okay. So next we come to some of the exercise questions here. Yeah. You can just go through the questions. Just consider them as 1 to 3. First question is, can we have more than one constructor in a class? If yes, what will be the name of different constructors? Yeah, think for the answer. Yes, this most of you must have told yes. We can have more than one constructor in a program. And the name of different constructor. Here sometimes the children get confused and they write different answers, but the correct answer for this is, if yes, the name of different constructor will be same as the class name. Whether it is a default constructor or a parameterized constructor, the name of the constructor is same as the class name. Okay, so the answer for this is same as the class name. Okay. Yeah, now just try the second one, the next question. A program is unable to create objects of a class declared globally. What could be the reason for it? What could be the reason for this constructor? What happens when no constructor is declared in a class? Yeah, so there are 3 questions involved here. Try to get the answer. Yeah, you are right. The reason for this constructor is the constructor has been declared private. Therefore, the object is not getting created. Yes, I think this I have shown you in BlueJ, the previous class. You can just refer it once again in case you have any confusion. What happens when no constructor is declared in a class? Yeah, when we do not write any constructor in our program, still we are able to create its object. How? Yes, when we do not have a written constructor in a program, the default constructor provided by compiler takes care of initializing the instance variable at object creation. Fine. But once we have a constructor in our program, then that constructor will take the job of initializing and creating an object. Fine. Yeah, let's go to the next question. Study the code snippet and answer the questions that follow. I'll give you a minute. Just go through the code and try to keep your answers ready. We'll discuss it in a minute. Yeah. So the first question here is name the class in which the code is defined. Okay, the class is already given here. Fine, it's class sample. Generally, if it is not given, only the snippet starts from here. So you should be able to make out that this, since the constructor, this is a constructor and the constructor name is same as the class name. The class name for this snippet is sample. Okay, so it is sample, but here by mistake the class name was written over here. Anyway, it makes your job simple. Now coming to the second question, name the formal parameters in the code. Now here, what is the formal parameter you observe? Yeah, it is v. The formal parameters or parameters are declared in the function header preceded by the data type. So it is v in this snippet. Name the actual parameter in the code. So here, where you're invoking a function or a constructor, it is this one, right? So this will call this, we will receive k, and k is nothing but 4. So k is the actual parameter or the argument for this snippet. K, you can say k is equal to 4. Yeah, and at the end, it is asking you to give the value of VAL. Now, what is the result stored in the variable VAL? So when you call this, V will be 4 and you have to use 4 in place of V and solve it to get VAL. Yeah, so this will be nothing but 3 into, this is post decrement. So it will first assign the value of 4 and later internally becomes 3, right? Plus here this is pre-decrement. So it will first decrease the value of V. The value of V now is 3. So 3 minus 1, 2 and then assigns. So this will be 4 3 is a 12. 4 3 is a 12 plus 2, which is 14. Right? So the value of VAL is 14. Got it? So you can be asked such questions in section A. So once your concepts are clear, all this will be easy. Hope you got it. Okay, let's go to the last question for today's class. Yeah, this is another code snippet. You have to point out errors in case you find any. Yeah, I'll give you 30 seconds. Just go through that code and check out on errors. Okay, so the first and foremost, many of you are in a habit of writing class C capital. So we know that class is a keyword, it has to be written in small case. But many children know even if it is small case, they write it like this. And sometimes no in hurry they write, but it it has to be written properly like this only. So make sure your C looks small case, in small case. Okay. So the first mistake here is class. Since class is a keyword, it has to be in small case. Then second error here is the parameter. All parameters must be preceded by data type. So the data type is missing here. And also you can see that the instance variable and the parameters are given the same name. So the compiler will get confused. So either you change this to M1, N1, and you can take parameters as M1 and N1 instead of MN. So that will sort out the issue. Otherwise, you can, if you do not want to change MN, you can, one second, you can also use this dot M to refer the current object. So if you use this dot M, this will refer to the instance variable M, and this will refer to your formal parameter M. Okay, so either one of them you can use. So that is the probable error, and this some versions will support this. In case you get an error writing like this, you can also write it as M equal to 0 and N equal to 0. Okay, that's it. So these are the errors. So you can expect these kind of questions in section A. It's a very simple chapter. Just be clear with the constructor concept we have done in these two lectures, and you can answer any question asked on them. So with this, we come to the end of today's session. Just practice at least one program with constructors in it, and call the method, invoke the constructor. Just try to understand whatever you have understood practically. Okay, children, thank you so much.